Good evening, Swig Squad. This is T with the Diva here. And this evening, I'm coming to you to have a conversation. I did mention in my live yesterday that my former employer ended up doing a massive firing of, I said over 80. It was over 100 people that actually got fired. And they were talking about it was due to budget cuts and things like that. They were having issues with all kind of stuff. While I understand that usually at this place, when there is a negotiation, which is usually like every 3 or 4 years, I can't remember, there's usually a lot of budget cuts. A lot of they do a lot of downsizing on the non-bargaining side, period. This just was a very, very big one. Also, usually when they do it, it's not a big buzz around the company. We don't all hear about it. It's a few people that part with the company. You may know them and you may not. This time, it was a lot of people that were known by a lot of people. And this time, there were a lot of good employees. Like y'all say, do a good job and you can definitely just keep your job. I mean, all you have to do is just work and, they'll keep you. That's definitely job security. Just do your job and all of that. These are people who definitely did their jobs. And while I understand that on the non-bargaining side, they are at will, which means that they can terminate you or you can be separated from the company and they don't have to give you a reason. You can be, separated from the company and nobody has to explain anything to you. When you go on that side, you sign off on things that automatically tell you that we don't have to give you a reason. We can just let you go. That's not what happened. They fired these people. And yes, there were different reasons for their firing, but because these employees were so good, the ones that I knew, they were really good employees. They shouldn't have had to worry about something like that happening, especially with upwards of almost 30 years seniority. I don't feel like they should have had to worry about. I would like to believe that after being with the company for so many years, that while you're doing your work and you turning around departments from a negative to a positive, and you're doing things like being offered promotions just off of your work performance and not because you applied for anything, or just off of your work performance. You got upper management offering you promotions, and you are given a number of promotions over a span of time because of your work ethic and the way that you do your job. I think that it's safe to say that you wouldn't have to worry about being terminated. Anything besides attendance, any work performance, an error, you made a mistake in a job function, you did something in. So when they're small things, and I say small things, I'm judging small things by the things that I've heard of people being terminated for or having to be separated from the company for. When they are small things and you just immediately get let go because of that small thing, and that's like the first time you did something like that, and they don't even look into it or try to see if there's a way that you can do something different or go further. That I'm just feeling like there was no interest in you succeeding within the company. They just didn't care about your upward mobility as it related to you succeeding with that company. I say that because, for an example, there was a supervisor that I never personally worked with myself for any length of time, but I had been hearing so many good things about this supervisor. So this supervisor goes to a certain department and they totally turn that department around. They take each and every individual that may have had shortcomings, may not have understood the workarounds the way that they may have handled the workarounds the way they were supposed to, people that had a history of not doing so well all the time, maybe not meeting production on a consistent basis. It's rumored that they may have been some of the weakest links in the department. This supervisor comes in and individually sits with each and every one of these people to show them whatever areas they were weak in, so that they're able to observe and call these issues out quicker, to make sure that they're able to more effectively and efficiently complete their jobs, which then in turn makes their work better. Their work is more pressed. They're actually making the production numbers. They are being praised for their improvement. This supervisor is responsible for that total turnaround. But because all departments don't want you to do that, they want you to come and supervise, but they really want you to be the kind of supervisor that's going to babysit. They don't want you to improve anybody's work ethic. They don't want you to give an understanding to these people, because they could have done that if they wanted that. And if they were interested in making these people better individually, they would have tried that. They would have initiated that themselves. They've been working with these people for years before this individual got there. So they aren't interested in you making your department numbers better. Although, as a supervisor, you're thinking, if they do good and they look good, I look good. That's not how they want it. They don't care too much about you looking good. You can be just okay with your department. They don't want you to come in and turn around a bunch of individuals that they had deemed unteachable. You come in and you're able to show them something to the degree of them being able to understand their position better, them being able to understand why they are doing the things that they're doing, why this particular workaround was created for this, because usually it's just take her work and just do it. And then they'll wait on whenever the day comes that she does something that's big enough for her to be terminated. Or she does something consistently where we have her on paper enough to now we have enough to send the HR to fire her. That this supervisor didn't want that on their team. So they made sure that every individual was succeeding on their team, but they were terminated. They spent all of their time, all of their blood, sweat, and tears individually sitting with people to make sure that they understand these things to the point where they got the stuff, had it down pat, and was actually doing a job better, making the numbers. Wasn't nobody getting wrote up enough. So they're not going to congratulate that. They definitely not going to celebrate that. So of course that person, we had to get rid of that person, because how dare you come here and think that you're going to make these people work better so they can look better? If we wanted that, we would have taught them and held their hand and helped them understood better. We didn't care about them doing that. So yeah, we wanted you to be good to a degree, but not that good, because now they're polished and they've actually, even after all these years, learned their jobs and understood it better. So that's an example of someone that they got rid of. They also were speaking about how, there had to be a lot of cuts, but there's a lot of heavy weight at the top where people have titles and they have positions, but they have no direct reports. Nobody's reporting to them. So what are you managing? You're not managing anything. That's somewhere you could have cut something. That's somewhere that I could have understood that you needed to cut some fat, but in corporate America, that's not where they cut the fat. They don't cut the fat all the way up at the top to the directors and the managers who don't have anybody to report to them. These are positions that were created just so my homeboy can have a position. John and Ian and Roy, they can all have those really, really top heavy positions and get those really good salaries with those really good bonuses, but they don't really do anything. They have titles and hardly any responsibility. That's where the fat could have been cut from if this was a company that really cared about people. Yeah, so it was just unfortunate. I do know a couple of people who were terminated. I just feel bad for anybody who loses their job, especially after so many years. And especially to me, in my opinion, for something so trivial and minute. And again, I understand that these people were at will. I understand that my associates and the people that I'm familiar with, I know that these were at will positions, and they knew that at any turn, any mistake or error or anything that they did, even forgetting something, and it was an honest mistake that they forgot, they knew that there was a possibility that they could be terminated. But I still say that because you don't work with machines and robots, it's a human aspect to it. And again, why not start at the top and come down? Why I just feel like why I don't know. I just feel like they really took away from really hardworking, good, really good, genuine, good employees. Employees that were really helping the company, that were not hurting at all, that would go above and beyond and would go that extra mile. Would do way more than they're asked or required. Had no problem picking up extra, doing anything extra for anybody, barely took time for themselves. Just things like that. That is just my personal opinion. And I'm sure it has a lot to do with me having a soft spot for people who are terminated from positions after having years and years of seniority. I'm sure that it has a lot to do with my soft spot with that, but also just looking at the whole picture, looking at the big picture, I just feel that it was just a total big unnecessary large termination. And I feel like they're really gonna take a hit for it. I think they're gonna regret it. I think they really gonna take a hit. And I heard that it was said that if we made a mistake, we'll just deal with it on the back end. Because that's how arrogant they are. But I just wanted to come on here and just share my feelings about that. I know I glossed over it in my live yesterday, but I wanted to expound on it a little bit and give my personal feelings and emotions on the topic myself, and just say to everybody out there who are, trying to climb the corporate ladder or just going to work every day, just trying to make it, I really do not think it matters about your work ethic. I do not. I still don't feel like it matter. I think you can be the best employee in the building and you are still expendable. I feel like everybody is expendable. There is no job security in doing your job perfectly well. I feel like you can do your job well and take pride in doing your job well, because of course when the rumors go around and people get to talking and your name is in those meetings, you do want to hear good things about yourself. And for that reason, I would say make sure you keep up the good work. But other than that, not to try to get nowhere or not to try to make sure that you keep a job or nothing like that, because this is a prime example of you can be let go at any turn, because some of these people were let go for a little of nothing. Yeah, I just wanted to come and share that with you all. I am done. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Welcome to the Swig Squad. And I am T with the Diva. I love you all. Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm still getting encouraging words from my first video, and I thank you all. So happy about that. And thank you to everybody who's sending me their stories and their messages for Sister Get It Off Your Chest. I will be reading some of those next week. I appreciate it. Y'all keep them coming. Thank you for your likes, comments, shares, everything. Keep them coming. This is Tea with the Diva, and I'm out.